on this episode of Tell Us a Story.
And it's so much more fun and lightweight.
I like fun.
So there's intuition and there's clarity, right? We actually want to have both. Then I go in and I'm like, well, this is not sick. I'm just anxious. So it's really about being inside yourself. I want to be successful. I am reading the thought. I am analyzing the thought. So if we go back to avocado and liver, because it's so easy, right? This is the universe kind of like telling you, you are going the right way. The art is in front of you. You look at the art, you want to be aligned with why you came here to be.
Are those walls you put up or walls you put up for other people? Welcome to Tell Us a Story, the podcast by Belmont City Press, where entrepreneurs and sales professionals share their journeys, insights, and strategies for success. In each episode, our guests reveal how they've overcome challenges, established their brands, and leveraged their stories to promote their businesses so you can too. I'm Red Hilton, your host for this episode. Today I'm joined by Dominique, who is the founder of Intention in Flow, intentioninflow.com. So, Dominique, tell us a story.
Many people feel stuck and disconnected from their true purpose. And at Intention in Flow, we guide you to reconnect with your inner wisdom through soul maps and human design so that you can live a life of alignment, clarity, and deep fulfillment.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So, Dominique, sort of bring us through the process of you and Intention and Flow. How did you get to where you are?
From a very young age, I used to see gold around people, like the actual color gold. And that when I was younger, I didn't really understand what it meant. And as I grew and I took on jobs and I learned and wisdom started coming in, I understood that all of that is all about energy because we are one with everything and everything is one with us. And I started using that knowledge to turn it into wisdom to try to help people to really know who they are completely so that they can be aligned and they can stop searching for everything else and really understand what is already within them and live from there.
Excellent. Who would you say your ideal client is? Who are you generally speaking to? Or if that's too broad, who do you usually see as a client in Intention and Flow? Who is it that's recognizing they need you and coming to you?
So I work a lot with creatives because creatives really live in they live in the flow of creations. They go from one creation to another. It doesn't mean you're an artist. You could be working in a supermarket or working in a bar, but your head goes from one creation to another. And sometimes you get onto that plateau and you have no more creations, or you think you have no more creations. Usually, when you get to that plateau, is just because you're no more in alignment. So, if you don't know who you are, it's really hard to get back into that alignment. So, creatives, healers, coaches, soul-led business owners that are creating all the time. They are getting their information from beyond or from within, and then they need to do something with it here in the 3D on Earth.
So how is it that people are living with intention and they're either doing it, I guess, or not doing it? And how do we sort of recognize if we are or are we not, or what are the results of either?
Mm-hmm. So when you live with intention, your life feels like a flow. Your life doesn't feel like you're constantly trying to understand the next step. There are people that need to make strategy for their next step. There are people that need to live with only recognizing their inner intuition, like their, yes, I want to do this, like their body response, right? So when you're not living from your intuition and you're living only from what society is telling you to do, you're always stuck in your head trying to understand the next step instead of doing the next step. You have overwhelm. you're not patient with life. You want everything to be like right now without trying to actually embody or enjoying the moment. At some point, Red, I think we forgot to have fun.
Mm.
And we are taking life so drastically by listening to all the other people that we forget her intuition is already telling us how we have to be living. And it's so much more fun in life way.
I like fun. So if you could do me a favor, if you could give at least your definition of intuition for those of us who it may not be a new word, but maybe we're hearing some new words surrounding it right now.
Yeah. So your intuition, so there's intuition and there's clarity, right? We actually want to have both. The intuition is really within you. It has nothing to do with the outside. As we grow up, we learn how to listen to the outside. We listen to the teachers telling us what we should learn, when we should learn, how we should learn. We listen to the doctors that tell us, this is why you're sick, this is what you're going to do, and this is what you should do, and how you're going to do it, and when you're going to do it, and for how long you're going to do it. We are always responding to the outside world. This is what we are conditioned to do.
Mm-hmm.
Your intuition comes from within. Before you go to the doctor, you had a feeling. Before you took on a job, you had a feeling. Before you went to that party that was dreadful or amazing, you had a feeling. If we listen to that feeling, this is the intuition. That feeling is already telling us what we need to do, how we need to do it, and what works for me in the condition that I am at the moment. And then you take that intuition and you bring it up to your head to create the clarity. This is where you get the knowledge. So let's say I'm really sick, or I really feel sick, or I perceive I'm sick. Then I go in and I'm like, well, this is not sick. I'm just anxious. Right? And then I'm going to go get the knowledge and the clarity on how do I, or what do I do to maybe get rid of that anxiousness? What is that anxious doing to me? As I'm getting that clarity, my intuition is still talking, because the knowledge that you're going to get, your body's going to say, yes, that's right, that fits for you, or yeah, no, that's crap, I don't like it. So it's really about being inside yourself.
So listening to yourself and letting that be guiding you in the direction you should go.
Listening to your emotions and your feelings and not your head to start with.
Okay. And then you gain clarity from there.
Exactly.
So talk to us about recognizing that you are not living with intuition or in your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
What are some signs that if someone's like, oh, that's me, that maybe I should take a step back?
So when you're I'm gonna say a concept that might sound crazy, and then I'll
Okay,
explain
go
it.
for it. No, absolutely. We love crazy.
We have thoughts and we hear or we read the thought. I want to be successful. I am reading the thought. I am analyzing the thought. I am trying to make sense of the thought.
Mm-hmm.
I am in my head. I want to be successful. I want to have a business, and that brings to my body this sense of fulfillment and empowerment. It's the same thought, different place, different feeling. So when I am in my intuition, I will say, do I like avocado? So for me, I love avocado. So that
Big
it's
fan
kind
of
of like bringing
avocado.
that. Yeah, I love it, right? But then
We're
do I
team
like,
avocado. That's it. I mean, that's all you really need in life. But yeah, go ahead.
there you go, virtual high five.
Hey.
But I hate liver.
Oh,
I am seeing the thought. Like I see the thought, but there's a feeling that comes to that. The feeling is your intuition. The thought is the rationalizing the thought. Like you're in your head, you're rationalizing, you're trying to make sense of it. It doesn't come from inside. This is not your intuition. So the trick is when you're thinking, because we all think, right? Try to stop yourself. Instead of like going from one thing to another, to another, to another, try to stop yourself and see if that thought has a feeling to it. And then analyze the feeling. So if we go back to avocado and liver, because it's so easy, right?
Yeah.
You want to know what your intuitive yes is and your intuitive no is. It's super easy. Grab an avocado, look at it. Do I want it? Feel what the answer is. Eat it if you love avocado. Take the food that you like the most. Eat it. Feel the feeling of what you're doing. And then grab liver and then look at it. If you don't like liver. If you like liver, don't do that. But for me, for you, we don't like liver.
No.
Look at the liver. What does it feel like? For me, it's like here, it's like, ugh, I really don't want it. And then if you want to go further, eat it.
No.
So then when you have a question, do I quit my job today? Is it for the greater good to quit my job today? Feel the feeling. If it's a yes, you might not want to quit your job today. I'm not for burning the house, but start taking the steps to being more aligned
with what
because
you
if
want
your
to
body, if your body and your intuition is telling you to quit, you're obviously not aligned there. So start taking the steps instead of just saying, I can't do that right now.
And then brushing it off and never revisiting it.
Exactly, because you're not going to be aligned. And when we're not aligned, the universe doesn't know what to bring for us. And so this is when we go.
It may not be an answer. It may be the beginning of a conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. If I eat liver, that looks like an anaphylactic reaction to me. So that's how I know I don't want it.
That's a no.
That's going to be a no for me, actually. But I get what you're saying. So talk to us about actions. So as our listeners, are kind of walking through the conversation with us today, what are some actions that you usually talk to people about, or how they can recognize what actions to take?
Okay. So if we go into do I quit my job or I don't quit my job? Okay. So let's say that you have this feeling that maybe you're not at your space anymore and you've asked your question. So now you know your yes, you know your no, and you're asking your body the question, is it for the greater good to quit my job? Right? We are not in a space of fear. We're not in our head. Like we are in an alignment space, and the body says, yes, it's time for you to move on. I trust my intuition, but I'm still going to have doubts because there's inflation, there's news, the kids, the activities. I want to go on a trip, So I'm going to grab a little paper and I'm going to carry my little notebook with me everywhere. And I'm going to start noting the synchronicities. I'm going to start noting, like, let's say I live in Chicago where people don't smile. And then today I'm walking and people are smiling at me. This is a synchronicity. Life is telling you you're going the right way. I just go in the metro and I feel like everybody's kind of gray. They're all looking at their phone. But today I saw 3 people that were very colorful and they were reading a book or they were just gazing and they looked happy. I'm going to note that. Those are synchronicities. This is the universe kind of like telling you, you are going the right way. Now, don't get to your job and quit. We're not there yet. This is where you start to bring clarity to your intuition. Then you start taking the steps. Okay, so now I know. I got my intuition. I got the synchronicities. I'm convinced. We want to still stay in the fun. I'm not going to start right now to butcher all my work. I'm still going to do everything that I can to make everything right in my work. But I'm going to start planning an exit to walk towards alignment. This is where you get the clarity. Do I want to move? Do I not want to move? Do I want to work in the same industry? Do I want to start my own business? Is it time for me to retire? And you ask your body these questions. And then you note the synchronicities. Let's say I ask myself, I'm 65 and I've been a nurse all my life. It's time for me to move on. There is an opening in a clinic, private clinic, where I'm not going to be working nights. I'm not going to be working weekends. It sounds amazing, but my body's still saying no. My body said yes, change, but says no to that amazing opportunity. Maybe it's time to retire.
Mm.
Then I ask my body, is it time to retire? Body says yes. I start planning my exit towards what is aligned, but always ask the question from within first.
Would it be safe to say that it's sort of a non-emotional reaction to a situation? It's more of a logical reaction?
I think that we observe, so we live as active actors in our lives. So
Mhm.
we don't, when you go to a museum, the art is in front of you. You look at the art. If you're stuck on the art, you don't really see what's going on. So you take 2 steps back and then you see a piece of the art. And you're like, oh, this is what it means.
Mm.
And then you take another 2 steps back and then the art starts, it's further, you can see broader. But we're always with the face in the art. We're not really seeing, right? So I'm 65. I can work until 70. I want the money. I've been putting towards my retirement all my life. I haven't had fun because in the last year it's been awful, yet I stay there. My face is stuck. I am the reactor to my movie.
Mm.
When you take your steps back, you start observing. And when you start observing, the conversation gets clearer with your intuition.
Mhm.
So your action steps are going to gain a lot of clarity. And then universe is going to start giving you all the answers. But you need to step back and observe the art, observe your story, observe your life, feel your gut reactions or the body telling you your intuition, because it's not everybody has a gut reaction. Some people have an intuition, somebody has an emotion. Like
Mm.
everybody reacts their own way. That's why you test it with food.
Mm.
It's very easy with food. We all have to eat.
Mm.
I think it's so important to go the easy way. Have the conversation without complicating stuff.
Mm. What's a common misconception about what you do or how people approach what you
It's
do?
complicated, it hurts.
Okay.
We hear, yeah, there's so many like healers and coaches, and they're like, well, we're gonna talk about your shadow, and we're gonna talk about conditioning, and that can feel scary when you are an observer and you're observing what you've been through for what it is. It doesn't hurt. Yes, we have to walk through our shadows, if you want to call them that way. I don't like the word shadow because they're just conditioning from the outside. They don't even belong to me. You
Mhm.
know, I don't revisit trauma. Why would I do that?
Mm.
You know, but we have to be aware of all of these things to go back into alignment. It doesn't have to hurt. It doesn't have to be hard, but it has to be done.
Mm.
And so the misconception is when I start living from my intuition, it's going to be scary, it's going to hurt, it's going to be hard. And it's all the opposite.
Okay. All right. Um, Talk about empowerment for me.
My favorite word.
Okay.
So if we go back into shadows and conditioning, those are not empowering, like, I'm going to talk about me here. When I was younger, I
Mhm.
was told many times to shut up. People didn't want to hear about my golden energy. People didn't want to hear about frequencies and flow. And I was told to shut up. I have an open throat, which means I am not designed to clearly say what I think. I could take that as a tag and say, well, if I'm not designed to say clearly what I think, well, and people have been telling me to shut up, clearly it's because I need to shut up. Feels very disempowering.
Mhm.
Now let's turn it around. My throat is open. So I receive information from everywhere. What if I was able, in my design, with my intuition, to make sense of all of that and express it out in a way that people can understand because I get it from everywhere. So obviously, I'm made to receive.
Mm.
And the energy has to come out. It doesn't have to be with my voice. It can be with my drawings when I do the soul maps.
Mm.
It could be by making strategies, like we are in the membership, we make strategies with people. It can be by writing articles. When I write articles on intuition, it can be in many ways. But I'm not meant to keep all of that within me. Yet the conditioning of society told me I don't understand what you say, so don't talk about it.
Mm.
This
Talk
is
about how,
very disempowering to
right.
empowering.
Talk about how we're not here to suffer, that we're here to be happy, and to
Oh
how
my
to find
God.
empowerment in that.
Have you ever heard the thing that people say, you signed the contract to be here and you're here to live all these stories and stuff like that? Like this is a narrative that I hear a lot. I mean, yeah, life's going to happen whether we want it or not. Some things suck and some things are a lot of fun. But would I have signed a contract to come here and suffer and like have my head cut down because I'm saying what I think?
Mm.
I don't think so. I think that I came here to live a life with other human beings that all have their own ways of thinking, their own ways of loving, their own ways of existing. And I came here to coexist with them
Mm.
and learn with them whatever we need to learn as a collective. The disempowered way, it really, really sucks to be on Earth. And the empowered way, let's all grow together,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And yeah, this is really the premise of everything that I teach. What's
I
the
always,
perspective?
I was going to say, I always say a rising tide lifts all boats, and we should be encouraging everyone to be who they want to be and vice versa. And I'll be your cheerleader until it's my turn.
Indeed.
Mm. Intentionandflow.com. What are people going to find there on your website?
So on the website, well, you're going to find the links to join, and you're also going to find a link for the newsletter.
Fabulous. Talked about the membership if you could first. What does that entail? What would people expect? Who is that? Who is it for?
Yeah. So the membership is for you if you know there's something more to what
Mm-hmm.
you're living right now. You
Mm-hmm.
know that you're here because you have to be here, but you want to be here because you want to be here. You want to be aligned with why you came here to be. Not only when you meditate,
Mm.
not only when you do yoga, also when you're sitting behind your desk doing reports for your boss
Mm.
or creating amazing cocktails in a bar,
Mm.
right? So you have this desire to live from within and take all that knowledge and do something empowering and aligned and balanced and fulfilling in the world here on earth. In the membership, we meet every week, and every week we will talk. So I'm a business strategist to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So you come and you talk to me about business. This is my zone of excellence. My zone of genius is intuition. So
Mm.
I'm always going to bring it back to who you are really. If you come and you tell me, I've been everywhere, I've done everything, and my business doesn't work, we're going to see where you're not aligned. You come to me and you're like, well, every time I talk to my kids, they don't understand anything. It's all their fault. Where are you not aligned?
Mm.
What did you say yes to that should have been a no? But we do that as a collective because sometimes when we are in that, I'm going to say awakening, but it's not really an awakening because I think we're all there. We just don't know. But when
Mm.
you are wanting to live from your intuition, sometimes you kind of feel alone. So in the collective, everybody is in the same place. We all
Mm.
want to live from our intuition. And some people are starting, most of the people are living from their intuition, but we all dip and it's all good. We're there to empower ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're there to help ourselves stay on that track so that our life is not only fulfilling, but is aligned.
Mm. What are people going to learn and get in the newsletter when they sign up?
So the newsletter is a lot about my thoughts on, I believe that there are levels of consciousness. A lot of people believe that. I
Mm-hmm.
believe there's levels of consciousness. And I believe that if you want to have the knowledge of Einstein and Gandhi, you can. I believe there is a way of accessing beyond the chaos of the collective consciousness, the consciousness of others, because we're all one. Everything is energy. Energy is everything. We share the same energy. So if I share the same energy with you, I should be able to do what you do. And if you share the same energy with me, you should be able to do what I do. So in the newsletter, I'm going to say, this is what I hear from source, and this is how we can apply it in the 3D. This is how we are living in the 3D, and this is how we can elevate to source knowledge.
Fabulous. Dominique, what is your Monty? So, as you know, Monty is our mascot here at Belmont City Press, our little owl friend. And he's sort of the beacon of all things inspirational and knowledge based, maybe, or, a story of inspiration or learning or something like that. So, what's sort of that phrase or mantra that you carry with us that you can share with our listeners?
So, my Monty is be the best I so we can be a better we.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yeah. When you know yourself so well that you see the red flags, you see the exits, you see all the things that are going to come and be perceived as a stump, like a wall in your path. When you know yourself so well, you see them coming, you're able to go around them. You don't have to climb them. You don't have to break them. It doesn't have to be hard because you see them coming.
Are those walls you put up or walls you put up for other people?
Well, if we go from the premise that everything starts within us, then it's wall that you put up from your own conditioning, your own beliefs, and your own blocks. We're going to call them that way so it's easier, right? But when you know these things, when they come up because you've dipped or because you're not stepping into the awareness of the whole of who you are, you can pass beside them because you know it's coming. Like for me, when I start feeling constricted and I stop talking my message, I know that it's my conditioning from when I was young. And I can sit back, observe, look at the art from far and say, okay, I know what that is. And instead of going flat face into that, I walk around and I start sharing my message again. So I am the better I. And when I share my message, you are hearing the message and you hear what you need. And then we come as a collective to share an empowering message for the world. So we are the better we.
Fabulous. Are you ready for our rapid fire session? Oh, yeah. I'm going to give you two choices. You tell me which one speaks to you the most. Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you like horror movies or comedy?
Comedy.
Okay, yeah, me too. Are you let's see, a ballet or an opera? Opera. Okay. Pasta or risotto? This is a very important question right here.
I'm gonna say pasta.
Really? I like a really good risotto. Like you can do risotto really poorly, and then I'm not a fan. But I would go risotto all day long if it was good. Would you rather go shopping in a store or online?
Oh my God, online.
Okay. I mean, there's something to be said for both, but I get it. Are you a window seat or an aisle seat? And if so, where?
Window.
And you'd be window and on a plane, bus.
Window everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay. All right. So you want to be able to see out. Would you rather go to a cooking class or a dance class?
Oh, can I do both?
You can. I don't think it's the same time. I wouldn't recommend. I mean,
dance while cooking.
Dance while cooking or cook while dancing, I guess is what it is. Yeah. If you had to choose one to do today, which would you choose?
Probably dance.
Dance. Okay. All right. We'll go that. Are you ready for our guest to guest question? So the guest before you left behind a question for you to answer during your show. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is the story you told yourself for the longest time that you realized is not true?
Oh my God, this is an amazing one. So the story that I told myself for the longest time is that I wasn't good enough to speak about intuition because I hadn't studied it.
Okay.
There's nothing to study about intuition.
Well, exactly. And I think sometimes we put such an emphasis on getting a degree as opposed to experience and sort of innate knowledge.
Indeed.
All right. Dominique, one more time for us. The website, membership, newsletter, intentioninflow.com. Are you on social medias as well? And where do people find you?
So I am also on social media and also with Intention Inflow on YouTube and Facebook.
Fabulous. And we're going to put your links in the show notes if anyone wants to find you. And so what is your sort of, final thought, parting thoughts for our listeners? If I gave you 60 seconds to tell us a story, what would the world learn from you?
When you are starting to experience to trust your intuition, don't put stress on it. Don't do what we do in the 3D. Just relax, sit back, and let the intuition guide you instead of you trying to guide the intuition.
Don't drive the bus. Let the bus drive you.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous.
But have fun while doing it.
Yeah, I like fun. Well, Dominique, thank you very much for your time. It's extremely valuable, and I hope I honored that here today.
You did. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. To our listeners, if you have a story to share, visit tellasastorypodcast.com. If you're an aspiring author, a seasoned business owner, or looking to elevate your personal brand, visit belmontcitypress.com for expert advice on writing your own success story. Trust the next chapter because you are the author. Now, tell us a story.